All right, today we are wading into the strange, seriously murky world of Lee Rozelle's Backwaters. This is a collection of Southern Gothic horror that, believe me, promises to just pull you under with these wild tales of toxins, mutations, and a very mysterious river cult. So, right on the back of the book, they hit you with this challenge, this question. Dare swim these waters? You know, that's a pretty compelling question. So let's dive in. Let's see what's actually lurking beneath the surface here. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in a place called Tallapoochie, a southern backwater that has a very, very big problem. There's this experimental toxin, and it's seeping into everything. And it's starting to change the people in town in some, well, let's just say some genetically modified ways. And as if a mutating toxin wasn't enough to deal with, you're also on the trail of these atrocities committed by this strange, enigmatic river cult. So you know right off the bat, something is deeply, deeply wrong in this town, not just in the water, but on the land too. So what even is this book? The source material calls it a water-breaking collection, which honestly is the perfect way to describe it. It's this incredible collision of two very different genres, Southern Gothic and what's known as Bizarro fiction. And you know, one of the best descriptions comes from the author Carlton Mellick III, he nails the vibe. He says it's like Flannery O'Connor, but with toxic mermaids and body horror. I mean, that just paints a super vivid and immediate picture, doesn't it? Let's just quickly break that down because it's a wild mix. On one hand, you've got Southern Gothic. It's all about flawed characters, grotesque situations, the kind of dark underbelly of Southern culture. And on the other hand, you have Bizarro fiction, which is all in on absurdity, satire, and just deliberate weirdness. Backwaters just smashes them together. And this fusion, this combination of genres, it perfectly captures a literary style that one reviewer pointed out, the Southern grotesque. It's the style that uses all these bizarre, unsettling things, not just for shock value, but to actually get at the hidden, uncomfortable truths about a place and its people. So how does this strange brew of genres actually feel on the page? Well, let's get a little taste. We're going to pull a few lines from the collection's very first story, which is called Lyle and the Spaceman. Now, it's really important to note, this isn't just a random collection of short stories. Backwaters is actually made up of 12 intertwined tales. Each one adds another disturbing layer to this world of Tallapoochie. We start with our main character, Lyle. He's the local barber. And right away, the description just sets this really distinct tone. Listen to this. Lyle's jug ears flapped when he laughed, like the wings of a bat, but he wasn't laughing now. And then we meet the spaceman, this mysterious regular who comes into the barber shop. Levitating on the top of his longish head, the man was wearing a bunched-up, mushroom-shaped toupee that made him look like Mr. Spock on Star Trek. See? That blend of the everyday and the just plain bizarre is right there, front and center. But the weirdness? Oh, it's not just about the people. It's in the water. Here's just a little piece from one of Lyle's crazy fishing stories.
There was one fish with these real long tentacles, fish grinning with big teeth, and I think this is it. I'm a goner.
Yeah, that's a pretty clear hint at the horrors that this toxin is creating. So as you can probably imagine, a book this wild gets people talking. Let's do a quick run-through of some of the critical reactions and see what they're dredging up from these murky tales. First up, Happy Goat Horror keeps it simple, straight to the point. Easily one of the weirdest books I've ever read. You know, for a book like this, that's a total badge of honor. PopHorror.com knows exactly who this book is for, calling it a must-read for fans of sci-fi and bizarre tales. No question about it. You can always tell a book is unique by the language it inspires. And listen to this from Vogue Horror. They describe it as a gloriously tumescent chimera. You just don't see words like that every day. But don't mistake weird for slow. HorrorNews.net makes it really clear that this book is also a certifiable page-turner. And finally, Carla's Literary Corner kind of captures what all the reviewers seem to be feeling. Unlike any book I have ever read, truly creative and imaginative. So all of this brings us right back to that first question. Will you dive in? Let's do one last recap of exactly what kind of horrors are waiting for you inside these backwaters. So what's in the water? Let's check them off. You've got an experimental toxin, an enigmatic river cult, a huge dose of body horror mixed with Southern Gothic humor. You've got genetically modified freaks, and, naturally, gospel-preaching wrestlers. It's quite a cocktail. And that brings us full circle. After everything we've talked about, I'm going to ask you one more time. What do you think is really waiting for you in the backwaters?